invocation of the seventh stanza of the national anthem. O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide You may please be seated. I said earlier, it's a bright and cool morning. And if I may crave your indulgence, can we all give ourselves a round of applause? Aha! So, I guess you're feeling cool. Thank you so much. Now, can you give yourself a round of applause? Okay. Somebody is asking for us to. You're on your own. Distinguished now family, Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, it gives me great privilege to say a big welcome to each and every one of us to the NIOT Seminar Series entitled Making Nigeria the Apple Hub of West Africa. And it starts with the National Horticultural Research Institute. Permit me at this time, and for want of time, that we all welcome first the number one staff right here in NIOT, our own Director and Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Muhammad Lawal Apanda. A round of applause for him, please. A round of applause for him, please. I claim your indulgence for want of time that we all welcome all IMC members and honor them. You know, the executive director is also a member of the IMC. So we all rise up, while we all remain seated, we all rise up to honor them, rise up and give them a good hand clap. All members of IMC, we honor you, sir and man. Thank you so much. May we be seated, please. Great NIOT family, it's also a privilege to say a big congratulations to all our colleagues who got their promotions within the last month. We say congratulations and more grace to your help. It is a privilege also to all the desire of everyone who comes to this institute is to get to that pinnacle. And I dare say, the great leadership that we've seen in this institute engenders a good camaraderie. And so, to all cha-cha directors, tear-over directors, I say, I don't know the interpretation of that. It's great. At this point in time, we'd like to bring up the chairperson for today's seminar session to please take the seat beside the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, none other than Dr. Dorcas Olugumi Ibitori. Please take your seats beside. At this point also, it is a privilege privilege. And I say, today is a great day for all Nile breeders. Nile breeders in the house, great! Oh. You can see we are small but mighty. I'm proud to be a breeder. Making this presentation today will be none other than Dr. Victor Anozie Chikabwe. Please make your seat beside each other. Let's give the hands rolling. And you can clearly see by the count of his head, you know where it's coming from. He is the head of station, Nile Bagauda Station. Another round of applause for him. So we welcome the HOS Kano. I'm also proud because I'm an Ibeji and he's a Baba Ibeji. And it was also part of those who started me in plant breeding. That's why it's a proud day for me. It's great to have you. At this point, the few things I have said cannot be compared to what would be in the citation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Madam Chairperson, permit me to invite another Ibeji, Dr. Eberombe, to give the citation of Dr. Victor Anozie Chikabwe. A round of applause for her.
Good morning, the ED, CEO of NIHOT, Dr. Emil Atonda, all IMC members seated, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols to be observed. Can I humbly request the presenter of today to humbly stand up while I take his citation? A round of applause for him. Dr. Victor Anozie Chikabwe was born on October 1st, many years ago. He started his early education in IBADAN, your state, and thereafter he proceeded to University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where he obtained his Bachelor of Agriculture in Crop Production. From there, he went to University of Agriculture, Master of Science in Agronomy from Great UI in 1995. His first degree was in 1987. And in 2018, he got his PhD in plant breeding from University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. Dr. Chikabwe joined NIHOT in 2006 as a research officer 1, and today, to the glory of God, is an assistant director of research and the current head of station, Bagauda, Kano State. He was a former head of citrus program in NIHOT and also a former project coordinator of one of NIHOT's institutional projects. Like I said, is the current head of station, Bagauda, Kano State. He has been involved in a lot of projects, both within and outside NIHOT. He was part of the Syngenta project research team that worked on 3 Syngenta tomato varieties, 2 pepper varieties, and 2 cabbage varieties, released to Nigerian farmers in 2015, 2016, and 2016, respectively, by the National Varietal Release Committee. He worked on genetic inheritance and yield of related traits in solanum species. Also, molecular screening and conventional breeding work on tomato resistance to wilt pathogens. In his area of contribution to knowledge, he has worked on application of biotechnological tools in tracing origin of crop species, DNA fingerprinting, genetic relationships, and genetic resources conservation. He has worked in the area of genetic improvement, rapid multiplication, conservation, somatic embryogenesis, and plant regeneration in non-embryonic portions of Tephria occidentalis seeds under ambient conditions. He worked on development of improved crop varieties, strategies for crop improvement, and agronomic practices for enhanced production, and also on the genetic development and distribution of adapted apple, M. domestica, progeny seedlings in Nigeria. Dr. Anozie has attended a lot of conferences and workshops, and to this credit, he has a lot of certificates to show. He has a certificate in proficiency in supervisory management from IIT IBADAN 1990, a certificate of participation from Federal Ministry of Environment on Nigerian Biosafety System for Stakeholders 2012. He has a certificate of participation from UNAB British Council Training Workshop on molecular screening of tomatoes for resistance to wilt pathogens 2011. A certificate of participation from FAO Horticultural Database Training Workshop on performances of horticultural cultivars in Ibadan 2018, and a certificate of participation, among others, on integrated breeding platforms and breeding management system workshop, NIHOT Ibadan 2017. He is a member of many professional bodies and a member of many committees within and outside NIHOT. He is a member Horticultural Society of Nigeria, member Nigerian Plant Breeders Association, member Genetics Society of Nigeria, member Biotechnology Society of Nigeria, member Crop Genetics, Breeding and Genomics Working Group of BSA. Is a member of International Society for Tropical Root Crops, Africa Branch. Is also a member of the National Horticultural Varietal Release Committee, a member of NIHOT Jimban Rehabilitation Committee, and is the zonal president, Council of Four Square Men, Falade in Ibadan. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Victor Anozie Chikaleke, all the way from Badauda, Kano. Inakwana.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Berombe. You know, it's not alone, it's just going in Beji. And if I may say this also, it won't be hard to guess what club he supports. They never walk alone. Liverpool. So, distinguished gentlemen,
you go walk alone, this one.
Upsitting. Our rapporteur for today is Mr. John Ikoro. Madam Chairperson Ma, would like to invite on stage our presenter for today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we welcome Dr. Victor Anozie Chikaleke to make a presentation.
Good morning, the Executive Director, CEO NIHOT, Dr. M.L. Atonga. I want to thank all internal management members here present. Good morning, sirs and ma'ams. The chairman for today's occasion, Dr. Bute, good morning. Thank you for being here. All other researchers here present, good morning all. NIHO staff, good morning. Thank you. Before I start the presentation of this very day, I want to particularly thank the Executive Director and CEO, because this work I'm presenting I've started since 2019, and it was when he came on board and trying to find out what are happening within NIHOT that he realized that there is Apple work going on, and he paid particular attention onto it, and ever since then I've been asking him about the business. I want to say it was thereafter that I was asked that I'll be presenting institutional seminar. What is going to be your topic? And I chose to present the Apple work, which is making Nigeria Apple Hub of West Africa, which starts with National Horticultural Research Institute, IBADAN. Apple is not a plant that I will say all of us know. But apple fruit, we all enjoy it. It's a very highly prized delicacy fruit in Nigeria, which we all enjoy every now and then. And this apple, when we look at it, some people will tell us we have apple in Nigeria, but the apple we have in Nigeria is bell apple, which is not in the same family with what we are going to listen to today. Apple, Malus domestica, belongs to the family Rosaceae, and there are more than 100 genera. At the same time, there are over 3,000 species of apple. Over 3,000 species of apple. There are many of the wild species in the area of domestication where they exist. But by human intervention, moving them from one place to the other, making crosses one way or the other, Malus domesticus is a species that was domesticated from the wild. So there are many of them out there, different from the apple which we grow in Nigeria. Apple has nutritional benefits. There are what I will call antioxidants, flavonoids, dietary fibers, B6, vitamin B6, vitamin C. All these things helps in in reducing some health hazards. If we look at the production of apple worldwide, 93.14 million metric tons of apple were produced, according to FAO stats 2021. And out of these 93.14 million metric tons, China alone produced more than or close to half of the world production. And they are closely followed by Turkey, USA, and some other countries. If we look at it, there is South Africa, which is from Africa, which also produces apple. But what does South Africa produce? About 900 tons annually. But most of the apples that comes into Nigeria comes in through USA and South Africa. We have to note that. Other countries in Africa that produce apples include Algeria, Egypt, Kenya, Madagascar, Morocco, South Africa, Tunisia, and Zimbabwe. There is no country in West Africa that produces apples. There is no country. Now, demands for apple fruits in Nigeria, for instance, have continued to be on the increase. And we are all very aware that there are many shops along the road where you will see apples being displayed. Those apples are not produced in Nigeria. They are imported from South Africa and from US, majorly. Let us look at Nigeria fresh apple imports by year. From 2001 to 2018, we will see that there is steady increase. By 2017, we were importing 35,900 metric tons. By 2018, it was 40,000. That is what we import into the country. And when we import this, we know that it is foreign exchange that goes with it. And if we look at the growth rate, initially it was decreasing. It will decrease, increase. Between 2009 and 2015, we have seen a steady increase before the thing started decreasing again. But by today, it is rising. When we look at apple importers, the major apple importers in the world, we see Germany, Russia, and United Kingdom. But Nigeria ranked 47th among the importer nations. And where does most of our imports come from? From South Africa and US. We will see that global sales as well of apple in 2018 stood at 7.6 billion. And from this total, European countries earned 2.8 billion. 2.8 billion, which is about 36.9%. We go down to countries like Asia countries, they earn about 26.1% as a result of import as income. And South Africa earns about 5.1%, 8th position. And we should note, most of our imports into this country comes from South Africa. So the money they earn it from where? Nigeria. What are the types of apple? There are so many types of apple. Crisp apple, pink lady apple, Java apple, Gala apple. There are many types of apple. We have crab apple. And when we look at the growing zones where apple are grown, we said thrives well in the temperate region where there is frost, where there is cold, does well there very well. And it requires sunshine, good sunshine, about 6 hours of sunshine a day. In Nigeria, do we have this type of climate? I will say yes. We have Mambila Plateau. We have Jos. We have Obudukatu Ranch area. They belong to sub-humid area. They are very cold. So we have such climate, but the issue is that apple is not being grown in Nigeria for a very long time. Apple loves a very deep soil, and if you watch, temperate soils are very deep. They are not shallow, and they love well-drained, loamy soil. They don't tolerate flooding. They don't tolerate acidity. Very mild acidity to very neutral soil condition is okay for apple growth. Can apple grow in Nigeria? That is the question now. If you ask many people, do we have apple in Nigeria? They will tell you yes. But they are telling you about bell apple, which is synonymous with Malay apple, Malaysian apple. But they are not in the same family with Malus domestica. Malus domestica belongs to Rosaceae family. In 2019, it was reported in Premium Times that there was an engineer by name Engineer Okoro, Engineer Okoli, living in Kaduna State, that he has been working on apple since 2000. So I tried to Google. I read the publication very well. And indeed, the man has been in Kaduna growing apple. Where did he get the apple? He got the apple from Catholic JDPC in Jacaranda area in Kaduna. So wow, indeed, apple can grow in Nigeria. We will see that apple can grow also. Apple can also be grown to a lesser extent in semi-arid, subtropical, and tropical areas, even where there is irrigation. High altitude, and if you maintain some various cultural strategies, apple will survive. From the countries that have been mentioned, growing apple in Africa, we see that they are mainly from North Africa and East Africa, then South Africa, but West Africa is excluded. So many types of apple can be. Sorry. What are the constraints of apple? When you raise your apple orchard from the true botanic seeds, they will not grow true to type. And when we talk about true to type, it means there will be variation. Some can be dwarf, all manner of things will be found there. If you buy apple fruit and you extract the seeds and you try to plant them, they have dormancy period. Even if you try to germinate the seed from a particular fruit, if you have 40 fruits, you may only succeed in getting 2 or 3 germinated. The others will not germinate. Because that dormancy, or there is something inhibiting them. All of them will not germinate. If you harvest a maize, a matured maize, and you plant the seeds, when they've not even lost their viability, you will record close to 100% germination. But for apple, it is not so. Even with what is going to be all your effort in trying to germinate them. Another thing is that some apples, they are self-pollinated. They are self-pollinated. And the implication is that in a country like Nigeria, where we want to promote apple production, if you buy one apple seedling and you plant it and it grows to maturity, if it is self-incompatibility, it will be flowering. You will not see any fruit. You will not see any fruit. But if you buy 2 or 3, there will be cross-pollination. So it will help it. So that is one of the strategies you are going to adopt. I want to say that genetic diversity are bound from seeds. And apple require full sun in a well-drained location. And Nigeria, we can grow apple. The objective of the study is primarily to break seed dormancy in apple and establish a growth-based progeny orchard. Breaking seed dormancy in apple, making them to germinate, and eventually to establish a broad-based progeny orchard. The materials and method. The work was carried out in 9 huts. 100 ripe apple fruits were collected. And Dr. Kenny Eberumbi, I think she eats apple a lot as well. So I collected 6 from her. 100, and we extracted the seeds. 200 seeds. The seeds were divided into 4 groups. 50 seeds per group. The seeds were tested for maturity whether they are matured or not, by putting them in water. Anyone that floats, you remove because it will never germinate. Then, treatment A, 50 seeds soaked in water for 4 to 8 hours. Thereafter, the tip of the radicle was carefully scarified with a pin. It was opened up. Then, after that, you get a airtight container, like takeaway container that we normally use in buying things, or ice cream container, but it will be airtight. You put tissue paper, wet tissue paper at the base, then you line your apple seeds on top and cover with another moist tissue paper. Thereafter, it was taken to a cool, dark place of a room in our office, and observation carried out on germination every 2 to 3 days. Treatment B, it was 50 seeds as well, soaked in water treated with hydrogen peroxide for 8 to 10 hours. Thereafter, the radical portions were scarified, then placed in an airtight container, as I earlier discussed. Treatment C, the same 50 seeds. This time around, soak in water for 1 to 2 hours. After that, place in that container, covered up, and placed inside a refrigerator. Observation will be taken every 2 to 3 days. The fourth one, the same 50 seeds, air dried for 24 hours before placing inside the same type of airtight container. Then you cover, placed in the refrigerator as well. Then what happened? This is airtight plastic plate for incubating apple seeds for germination in a cool, dark place. These are seeds of apple. One-week-old apple seedlings, 2 months old apple seedlings. On this very frontage are apple seedlings placed from Kano. I brought them from Kano. Results. You see germination response of the treated seeds. Number of days to germination. 10 days to 110 days. If you leave them, they can go for 200 days ungerminated, if it is the type that will not germinate, and it will still be alive. But I stopped at 100 days. Look at treatment A, where it was soaked for 4 to 8 hours. Then you do the scarification, put in a cold, dry place. Look at treatment B. Soak for 8 to 10 hours in water treated with hydrogen peroxide look at treatment C, soaked in water for 1 to 2 hours, then put inside what? Fridge. Then treatment D, that was dried for 24 hours before placing inside refrigerator as well. You will observe that within 10 days, there were some germination. For treatment A, 15 plants germinated. For treatment B, 35. For treatment C, you will see that the germination was by 10 days to 24. It continued. But by the time you look at treatment D, from 70 days after placing in the refrigerator, 2, after 90, another 1, 110, another 1. Looking at it, treatment B gave the highest number of germinated seeds, followed by treatment A and treatment C, while treatment D, the germination percentage is very poor. Even from recorded literatures, apple germination, like I said earlier on, the percentage rate is not that high. It is not high. And the cause is as a result of inherent dormancy problem in apple fruit that warrants that you will buy apple, maybe you try to germinate it, it will not germinate. Results show that soaking apple seeds in water for some hours, followed by scarification of tip of apple seeds and keeping in a cool, dark place with plant physiological seed conditioning that can improve some aspect of the seeds germination in tropical areas like Nigeria. Future of apple production in Nigeria. If, as an institute, we can maintain progeny orchards of apple in some of our outstations and at the headquarters. Progeny orchards is talking about broad-based genetic material being present there. From it, we can start grafting, we can start budding, we can start so many other things with apple. And when this one starts from evaluation, there is one that we can call a particular variety because each stand of the progeny orchard, each stand here can be a variety because they are different, they are not the same thing. If we can, build on that and ensure that materials are coming out and spreading all over, definitely many parts of the country will be covered. The apple progeny orchard now set up at IBADAN and IBADAN station will serve as a genetic base to transform Nigeria into apple hub of West Africa. Already in the institute, we have apple orchard. We have same in Bagauda. We have same at Jos and Otopa, even in the east. At least, if we see what the apple orchard in Ibadan looks with time, we will know that it is possible for Nigeria to leapfrog from importer nation to exporter nation, because there is big money involved in apple production all over the world. The initial investment can be high to establish 1 hectare of apple. Putting it at 7 meter by 7 meter, that will be 204 plants or trees per hectare. But the return on investment will be high using these very indexes. If you are harvesting 500 to 100 fruits per tree per season, and we expect 2 seasons, the plant fruiting 2 times, just like citrus, around March, around August, we will be having 2,000 fruits per tree per year. In Nigeria as of today, I don't know whether they sell apple 50 naira. But let us multiply by 50 naira. If you multiply 50 naira per fruit, it will translate to 1 million naira per tree. And if you multiply 1 million naira by 204 trees in 1 hectare, it will translate to 20,400,000 naira per hectare per year. It is possible. What a great return this week, if you can invest it, if you can have it, and it is possible. This is my apple nursery in my own very house. The second one on the right is the one in Bagaga house station. The 2 apple trees are the ones in my house. I have 4 trees. I started planting in 2019. But I want you to know that by March, when I came for interview, they have started flowering. It was 3 years, maybe 4 months, because by October this year will be when they will be 4 years old. I did not expect apple raised from tree to flower and start fruiting in 3 years, maybe 5 months. I didn't expect it. Apple raised from any plant, any tree crop raised from the seeds, they will start fruiting maybe some 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years. That is when, if you look at back here, many farmers are running away because by the time they plant it, it will take a very long time to start fruiting. I want to thank everybody for listening, and I want to say that NIHOT can change the story of apple in Nigeria. We can stop importing apple from outside. And I want to say that already there are some hands that are trained in the production of this very crop in Nigeria. There are some hands. As I'm here, there are people who are working on it in Bagaga. They know everything. If anyone germinates, they know what to do. And in IBADAN, I have people also who are working on it. I want to say that, once again, that I thank the ED, because since I started this work in 2019, I've not received cover on it. I've been using my money to do it, to establish the orchard. But when he came, he said, you can't be doing this. That the maintenance of the apple orchard will be transferred to orchard committee. There is orchard maintenance committee. It will be transferred to their hand so that the burden can be alleviated. Then you can still continue your research work on it, which I buy into. So I want to thank you, sir, very well. So thank you all for listening.
Please let's keep those hands going until they have the seat.